Let's talk about value add opportunities in 2020 moving forward. Hey, I'm Tim Diesel. I'm a commercial real estate consultant. This channel is designed to give you tips and strategies in your investing business. If you're a broker, this will definitely help your clients. Value add opportunities are dead. At least that's what everybody's saying. I don't know if that's necessarily true. There's always going to be opportunity, and I constantly say it, because no matter what the market is doing, no matter what interest rates, people are always going to get divorced, they're going to die, they're going to retire, they're going to move somewhere, and maybe they self-manage a property, it's too much to handle, death of a spouse, different career goals, could be whatever. You have to keep in mind, most people that own commercial real estate are a little older, they're not really in their 20s. While there is a lot of young, ambitious, smart intellectuals, that's not really the market. It's really a little, probably north of 40, and that's kind of, there's a lot going on in someone's life. You know, you have kids, all kinds of things, so you never really know. So never believe anybody who tells you there's no value add, everything's dead, blah, blah, blah. That's all garbage. Now, what I want to talk about is I want to give you some tips on where you should be looking for those value add opportunities. So what you're going to notice is whenever a market has something to react to, right? So now we had a real big scare, the end of the first quarter, and banks are being really concerned, right? They're being more conservative. They're like, well, we don't know if we want to lend to this type of property, and that could always be an opportunity. So what I have done is I've reached out to a lot of owners that have a small note on the property. Now let's say the property is $1 million and they owe maybe $200,000 or $300,000. The property may be worth what it's worth, but it's worth a lot more to me if I can get in there real light. And that's the truth. So a lot of times you can assume a lot of these loans, maybe you could do structured owner financing. However you can get into the deal is always something to look at. And there's different ways to break that down. And I have all kinds of strategies and all kinds of ways you can do that. But the value add opportunities is what I want to talk about here. If somebody has a property, not all properties have been fixed up, repaired, rehabbed. That's not true. Not all properties have had rents raised. There is tons of properties out there that have been neglected for whatever reason. Maybe the wrong kind of tenants were in there. Maybe you had a lease for 5 or 6, 7 years. It could have been stunted growth. Maybe you have a chance to get in there and change those leases around. So look at what you can do with the property. And a lot of times when we see value add, I've noticed this from investors, they'll see something and they'll say, okay, I got to get in there, I got to raise the rents. And while that is true, that is a very, very powerful strategy. And maybe 10 years ago when the market was down, you could have done that very easily. But now there's going to be new opportunities coming. So you got to have your eyes open. What can you build on there? What can you expand? Can you turn the 1 bedrooms into 2 bedrooms? If it's a retail property, hey, great, somebody left, a big box tenant. Who else can you get in there? Can you divide the space? If it's an office, maybe you can reconfigure it a little bit. And these aren't very difficult things to do. Most of the time, while adding more units to an apartment building might be really tough, well, what about expanding it? I've seen so many owners I've talked to, all they've done is maybe turn a really small studio into a larger 1 bedroom. And when you analyze the numbers, it's actually more valuable because you keep people in there longer. So it just kind of depends on what's there. So when you see your value add opportunities, you're gonna have to start to look at them a little differently now. And if you can, try to really evaluate it long term, obviously, right? Because the next couple of years might be tough. Inflation hits 3 to 4 years, who knows what that'll do. But if you have debt on the property and you're positioned in a good comfortable spot. You're not taking a negative cash flow. You're gonna be okay. You just really wanna open your eyes up, see what you can do with the property, and most of the time, look at what's possible. So if it's a retail property, true, there's a lot of tenants right now not paying rent, they're moving out, they're bankrupting, they're closing. Who's coming up? And if you can maybe work out a deal with the seller and structure that financing favorable for you, gives you a longer window to add value to that property. And it's not uncommon to ask for those things and get them. So you're gonna have to try to do that. And there are different ways to do that. You can definitely ask me questions, join our Facebook group. I got all kinds of ways going on. I've got a podcast that I give all kinds of tips on there as well. And even here, I'll drop videos for you guys and I'll give you all kinds of things that I can. But definitely keep your eyes open, because I do believe there's gonna be a wave of opportunity, and you definitely wanna be ahead of it as much as possible. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, ask me questions, leave me comments. Love answering them all, and I hope you guys got a little bit out of this one.